Daniel Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania? Is NXT too tough to follow? And what about that Seth Rollins scandal? All that and much more. Keep it locked right here. It's Thursday Night Sharpshoot. What's going on, Rope Breakers, and welcome to episode 2 of the newly repackaged Thursday Night Sharpshoot. I am your host, AuSSy, once again coming to you live from my apartment dining room. That's right, we've moved the operation out to the dining room. Very soon, we will be operating from Rope Break Wrestling headquarters within the next couple of episodes. You might have noticed one difference from last week's episode. Cardboard cutout Seth Rollins has been suspended until further notice. But let's start with news and rumors this week. And I gotta be honest with you, it's been an extremely busy week in WWE. If you didn't know that, you must have been living under a rock, or maybe you're Matt Donato. Either way, let's get right into that news and rumors.
She's wearing, I'm hooked, and I can't stop staring. Oh, baby, wanna get with ya.
First off, we've got Big Show. Now, this is a spoiler. I want to say that again. This is a spoiler. If you don't wish to have a spoiler for SmackDown, what you're about to see tonight on SmackDown, I advise you to, fast forward a little bit in the show. We're going to be talking about a spoiler alert from tonight's SmackDown, and that is that the Big Show is set to turn face yet again. Another character change for the Big Show, as tonight it has been reported via SmackDown spoilers that Big Show is set to turn face. Once again, he's going to turn, and it appears at this time on Kane out of nowhere for no apparent reason, in true Big Show style. This is getting really ridiculous. I don't really read much into this anymore. It's really diluted Big Show's character that he's had probably 20 to 25. That's like almost not even an exaggeration. Face and heel turns over the past year, it seems. It's just been ridiculous. We had crying Big Show face turn into authority Big Show. He had to turn into Team Cena face. Then he turns again at Survivor Series. It's just been ridiculous. And really, it's adding to the frustration of having Big Show on the card at all. In any show, he's really too big of a part of the show as it is right now. That could be, his heel status or face status could be taken by another up-and-coming superstar that really deserves it and needs it. Now, with that being said, I've never been the biggest Big Show fan, but, you have to give credit where it's due. Big Show has been a mainstay in WWE for so long now, and he really has given so much to the company. And, unfortunately, like Kane, I think it's just he's coming down to that time in his career where not as many people are as interested in his character. And maybe it might be close to time to ride off into the sunset. Big Show, I don't see going very far away from the WWE ever. I think he's going to be, a big part of the WWE, whether it's as a trainer in NXT or just an on-screen personality or whatever. He's going to be part of the WWE for a long time to come. That being said, I'm not really sure where they're going with this face turn. It's probably going to lead to a match between he and Kane at WrestleMania. I'm hoping for that, even though that seems like it's not anything that we want to see. I'd rather see that than Dolph Ziggler teaming with Ryback to face Kane and Big Show. I think that would be an absolutely terrible use of Ryback and Ziggler. Therefore, I guess I'm holding out hope that this turn may mean Big Show versus Kane rather than Ziggler and Ryback being wasted in a feud with those two. But moving on, now we've got the Darren Young situation that happened on Twitter this past week, and that really blew up because of WWE's tour in Abu Dhabi. Darren Young taking to Twitter to express his, I guess, anger. Anger is what you might say. It was a little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration, and a little bit of sadness. And rightfully so for Darren Young. Darren Young saying he doesn't even know why WWE is, touring in a country or a place where they look down on gays, homosexuals, and women. And I can't say I necessarily disagree with them. You've got WWE, and they've got certain standards as a company, and strong women is one thing that they really push, and in Abu Dhabi they just don't tolerate that type of stuff. It does raise questions as to why they're over there, but like Darren Young said, and he kind of said it sarcastically, but there's always a little bit of truth in sarcasm. He said it as the old primetime, or not primetime players, primetime players said it, millions of dollars, and Crime Time said it too. It's all about that money, that money, yeah. Shout out to JTG on the show, and again, I know where Darren Young's coming from here. I don't know where he's coming from, being that he is a homosexual, and that alone obviously leads him to a different feeling that he has going over and touring in a place where he feels he's not accepted. But I should say I'm behind him there, and I do think that WWE maybe needs to rethink where they're going and whether or not all their talents are supported. And if that is sending the right message to that place. I think by WWE choosing to go there, it's kind of in a way co-signing their culture, or saying, hey, we're okay with what you do. That's why we're going to come over here. It is what it is at the end of the day. I applaud Darren Young for speaking his voice. And again, he said something about his First Amendment or his freedom of speech, disappearing, but it's not forgotten. It's definitely great to see a guy like that go out and express his concerns or his feelings, even if WWE made him take the tweet down shortly thereafter. So Darren Young, keep doing what you're doing, man. You do have people in your corner. It's the WWE Universe, and definitely the guys at RopeBreakWrestling.com. Now, the final bit of news and rumors that we've got is a rumor coming out of PW Insider this week that Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, is set to be making an appearance on Monday Night Raw. Now, it's not really a PW Insider story. Dusty Rhodes did go on Twitter and make it official that he will indeed be on Raw, and he'll be talking about Cody Rhodes, Stardust, and Goldust. There clearly is the seeds have been planted for a feud there. Everybody's wondering, is it going to be Stardust versus Goldust or Cody versus Goldust? That remains to be seen. Right now, Stardust is playing down the whole Cody thing. Don't call me Cody. He's dead, blah, blah, blah. It'll be interesting to see what Dusty Rhodes brings to it there. Last time he was up on the show, it was interesting as they had that whole segment with Cody being fired and him and Goldust being rehired. Very interesting stuff. Dusty Rhodes, definitely a legend in his own right. It'll be just cool to see him from a nostalgic standpoint, if nothing else. But I think that he is going to bring a little salt and pepper to that storyline and really give it that push that it needs to get going here in the coming weeks. I'm excited. It looks like this is definitely going to be a WrestleMania match, and it could be the end of Goldust's in-ring career. Now, he said he wasn't retiring anytime soon, but, we know that that's not necessarily true. He could have been saying that just to downplay those rumors, to just keep it quiet or keep it on a quiet front. But he still could be retiring after this match with Stardust / Cody Rhodes. It remains to be seen. I'm interested to know what you guys think. If you think Cody should wrestle as Cody or Stardust, and if you think Goldust should or will retire after the match, or if you don't even think this is going to be a WrestleMania match, if you think it's kind of maybe a Fastlane thing, or just something that's going to happen on the undercard for time to come, I think that would kind of be less likely. But hey, whatever you guys think, tweet us at Rope Break Wrestling, and of course myself as well at I Am AuSSy.
You the real MVP.
Yes, our new segment in its second week, The Real MVP. Who is this week's MVP? So many choices. You've got Seth Rollins for tweeting that picture of smoking Zahara. No. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. You've got so many candidates out there, really, for MVP this week. Really, anybody that performed at NXT TakeOver Rival, anybody that was in the back working, anybody that wrote on that, anybody that produced, the people on the pre-show panel. Just an amazing show, as usual, put forth for free on the WWE Network. Amazing. Anybody really could have won it there. And it is going to go to an NXT talent this week, and rightfully so. Who's it going to go to? Not Finn Balor, not Hideo Itami, not Adrian Neville. It's not going to go to Kevin Owens, and it's not going to go to Sami Zayn. It's going to go to Sasha Banks. That's right, the boss. Sasha Banks is the MVP this week, and for good reason. If you watched NXT TakeOver Rival, you saw 3 WrestleMania worthy matches. I'm not saying WrestleMania main event, but definitely WrestleMania worthy matches. You saw Finn Balor take on Adrian Neville in a 4-star, 5-star match, no doubt, 5-star match. Obviously, Finn Balor came out and did his thing, and we'll get into the NXT TakeOver Rival pay-per-view a little bit later, but when it comes down to it, you have Sasha Banks in that fatal 4-way match with Charlotte, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. Just an excellent match, and it really goes to show you what you can do, or what WWE Creative can do, or what the Divas can do when you give them a little character development and a little bit of time to do their thing in the ring. And there's no doubt that match had me glued to the TV. I was honestly welling up with pride as a fan. It's just excellent stuff to watch. It's really particularly cool to see the women do their thing because they don't get as much of a chance on the main roster, and it's really cool that whoever it be, whether it be Triple H or whoever else is down there in NXT, deciding to give the women the rightful amount of time. It's just really cool to see that because they are definitely delivering. They are not letting anybody down. It's hard to say which match of those 3 main events was the best, and immediately people will say one or the other based on their opinion, but Sasha Banks did her thing in that Divas Fatal 4-way match. She becomes the Women's NXT Champion, and it's well-deserved. And I have to say, I'm a big Sasha Banks fan, not because I'm a big Snoop Dogg fan as well, but just because she's really doing her thing. She's really 100% invested into her character. That's something that we don't see from everybody these days. And there's really not much else that I need to say about it. If you don't understand why Sasha Banks is the MVP this week, you need to go back, go onto the WWE Network for free. And UK people don't even have an excuse anymore. Go on the WWE Network for free. Go check out NXT TakeOver Rival. And go right to that Fatal 4-Way Divas title match. Just some excellent spots. All 4 of those Divas worthy of the MVP this week. But because she pulls it out and earns that NXT Women's Championship, Sasha Banks, you the real MVP. Maybe you're watching this show for the first time, and if that's the case, I'm sorry to hear that. Go back and check out our previous shows. But really what you need to do is you need to go and check out all of our social media. We are on Facebook, and that is potentially our biggest following. Over 3,000, close to 4,000 likes on Facebook, and that's where you're going to see all of our content every single day. We're doing reaction to Raw. We are doing reaction to NXT, reaction to SmackDown. We post all of our articles. We post all of our shows right on our Facebook page. And there's also giveaway opportunities there as well. Go ahead and like us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/ropebreakwrestling. And, give us a like and get involved with what we've got going on Facebook. It's definitely the best way to get yourself entered in to all of our giveaways and ensure that you will be potentially a big winner. Go like us on Facebook. That music can mean only one thing. It's time for It's True, and ooh yeah, it's too tough to swallow. That NXT might just be too tough to follow. A little bit of rhyme in there, like the Macho Man. Either way, we just got done talking NXT with Sasha Banks, this week's real MVP, but we're going to continue on that trail and do a little bit more NXT talk here. I'm going to tell you why. NXT has become extremely tough to follow, and it's not just their live events. It's every single week. We're talking about SmackDown tonight and Raw potentially showing up and topping what happened on the NXT, the developmental pay-per-view or special event, whatever you want to call it. NXT is becoming increasingly difficult to follow. It's just they keep continuing to rise the bar, which is the exact opposite of what it's supposed to be. Really, the main roster and the main show, Raw, is supposed to be setting the bar that NXT is supposed to be jumping towards. But we're seeing the exact opposite lately. I don't know. There's a slew of reasons why it could be, and I've got a couple tallied down here that we'll talk about. But really, before I say anything, you really have to applaud everybody down at NXT at Full Sail University, from the production team to the writers to the talent themselves. Just excellent work. They're doing a great job, and it's something that I look forward to watching each and every week. Now, with that being said, I've got a couple reasons why I think it's possible that NXT is so tough to follow. Number one being, it's a 2-hour show, and Triple H said it on the Stone Cold podcast. A 2-hour show is what he would like to turn Raw back into, but that's not his decision. It's Vince's, and obviously they have sponsors and whatnot that they need to fulfill. They have a TV deal. But with that being said, it's evident that a 2-hour show is much more concentrated than what we see in a 3-hour Monday night show on Raw. It's really plain to see. There's really no filler material. All of the NXT special events are just from start to finish, intense. Like I said, from start to finish, intensity. That's really all that needs to be said about that. 2 hours, it's really not a marathon there. It is a sprint. I know the old adage goes the other way, but like I said, we saw 3 main event style matches, 3 WrestleMania worthy matches on this past week's special event, TakeOver Rival. And I mentioned it on Twitter at Rope Break Wrestling on our live tweet that they just produced 3 main event matches in one special event. WWE has not been able to do that in one pay-per-view in a very long time. As a matter of fact, I can't think back to the last time I saw 3 excellent show-stopping matches on one pay-per-view. Obviously, at Royal Rumble, we saw an amazing triple threat match from Lesnar, Cena, and Rollins, but that was it. We didn't see much else from the Royal Rumble. It seems like each WWE pay-per-view has one match that really stands out, or maybe it doesn't even have one match at all. But it's really seeming like all of these NXT special live events, it's 3 or 4 matches that are just really wowing you each time. I don't know if it's because the talent is that much hungrier, or because they have a little bit more flexibility, or if it's because it's Triple H doing it and not Vince. That remains to be seen. I think the real answer here is no Michael Hayes, not Vince. I think it's Michael Hayes that is not down in NXT, doing any puppeteering. Triple H has got most of the reins down there, and it shows because he's in touch a little bit more. We see him on Raw picking on the internet fans and whatever. He's in touch with what's going on. He hears the fans. He sees the fans. He knows what they want. He knows what they like. And he's providing it on NXT. And with that being said, a lot of it has to do with the talent as well, being just extremely hungry and wanting to prove themselves and get themselves to that main roster. But the final thing that I think really has a big play and why these NXT live events are so good is the concentrated crowd. The crowd size is much smaller, much more intimate, and it's full of rabid, real fans. No soccer moms bringing their kids. No sweaty dads that want to leave after the first 3 matches because their kid got to see their favorite superstar. That actually happened in front of me at one of the live events I went to. But either way, the fans and the crowds are just really concentrated. They're hot the entire special event. They cheer the baby faces. They boo most of the time. They boo the heel. But just excellent stuff and a lot of good talent coming out of NXT. And really, NXT is, it might be too tough to swallow, but NXT is right now too tough for the main roster to follow. It's true.
It's damn true.
Before we get into this week's mailbag, I have to ask you guys for your help. Once again, it's that time of the show. How can you help us? Why should you help us? Well, really, the reason we need help is because, listen, I'm just a college dude sitting here, like I said, in my dining room. The studio's not done, you know what I mean? We had a multi-million-dollar, no. Why we need help is because we're just a couple of dudes that are doing this site for the fans, by the fans, and, like you guys, our pockets aren't very fat. And we're not trying to fatten our pockets. What we're trying to do is continue to keep these shows and these giveaways and the website and stuff like that going. And in order to do that, we need your help. And how can you help? You can help by becoming a patron on our Patreon page that you can find at patreon.com/ropebreak. How you can help is by donating whatever you can, $1, $2, $5. There's different rewards and different prizes that you can earn by donating different amounts. And you can help us keep Thursday Night Sharpshoot, React After Raw, Before the Bell, keep all those shows going, maybe add some more shows. We can do bigger, better giveaways. This past pay-per-view at the Royal Rumble, we gave away 2 shirts from ProWrestlingTees.com. We gave away 3 DVDs. We gave away an action figure. We gave away tons of stuff. And we like doing that for you guys, but to be honest with you, we're living on ramen noodle budgets, and we need your help. The more that you guys can help, the bigger and badder the giveaways can be. If all of our Facebook followers donated $1 a month, we would be close to $4,000 a month, which means these shows would just become extremely badass. We could get awesome guests on the shows. We can do big, bad giveaways, maybe tickets to pay-per-view events or stuff like that. Just really awesome stuff. So if you can, go help us out. Become a patron on our Patreon page at patreon.com/ropebreak.
Mail time. Mail time. Mail time. Mail time. The mail's here.
This week, we've got 3 awesome questions from you guys, the fans, and you can, of course, submit your questions for next week's show on our ask.fm page, which is at ask.fm/ropebreakwrestling. Now, the first question, do you think the New Day is too much of a stereotype? Excellent question, and I like some of these mid-card questions because we don't always need to be talking about the main event or what everybody else is talking about. The New Day, everybody was really hoping that they came in as the Nation of Domination Part 2. I think, to be honest with you, that would have been a little bit more of a stereotype than what they are now. I see the stereotype there. A lot of people say because of the choir and everything, it was just too stereotypical. Happy, happy, happy. They're too happy. I see that as well. I do think that they would be better off as heels. I don't think that they would be better off as that Nation of Domination Part 2. I think the Nation of Domination and the whole Black Panther style gimmick is just, that's what's really stereotypical. I think that they're better than that. I think all 3 of those guys are excellent characters, excellent wrestlers, and I think that they can be their own characters. I like what they're trying to do with the New Day, but it's really like the Attitude Era where we know you're not that happy Rocky Maivia. You can't be that happy sitting on the mid-card or, getting squashed or getting embarrassed or getting booed. We know you're not that happy. So the best thing for them right now would to probably be to turn heel and really show us some real raw emotion. As of right now, yes, they are a bit of a stereotype, but I do think, like I said, that Nation of Domination gimmick might have been a little bit more of a stereotype. So thank you for your question. Second question we got is, who gets called up first? Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, or Hideo Itami? Great question, and obviously it's relevant with the NXT pay-per-view or a special event that just happened. That's a tough one, to be honest with you, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say Kevin Owens. Now, I know he's been on the show for the least amount of time, but I think they're really jetpacking him to the top. I think that they really have high expectations for Kevin Owens. He can talk. He can pretty much do everything. He's a total package character. I'm really excited to see what they do with all 3 of these guys, and I think by WrestleMania 32, I expect all 3 of these guys to be up. I would expect a little bit of a peppering into the main roster. But like I said, by WrestleMania 32, I expect Sammy, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, and Hideo Itami, as well as Adrian Neville, to all be up to the main roster by that point. I just don't see how they can keep all of that talent down in NXT for that long. They could really use them on the main roster. So out of those 3, I would say Kevin Owens, but I wouldn't be surprised to see either or of any of those 3 guys get promoted before one or the other. But I think it's going to be Kevin Owens. The final question we have this week is, when will we see a Shield triple threat for the title? That's another excellent question, and something that I've been wondering myself, to be honest with you. Really, I've proposed this in a couple fantasy booking scenarios. I did it for WrestleMania 30. I wanted them to break up prior to WrestleMania 30 and come up with a triple threat ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. I thought that would have been awesome, but it didn't happen, and I don't see it happening anytime soon, to be honest with you. The soonest I think it would happen is at SummerSlam of next year. It's still a very viable scenario. It makes sense. They're always going to have that storyline, and I think for a lot of us, it would be mark out moment. I think if they throw a ladder in there, I don't know why, I think a ladder would just add so much to that match. It doesn't need to be at TLC to be a ladder match. But I expect one of those three to have the title around SummerSlam next year, and that would be an excellent time for them to do that. The biggest party of the summer. If not, maybe WrestleMania 32. Remains to be seen, but that's definitely a money main event. It'll be big time if they do go with that, and when they do go with that, I should say, because it's got to happen sooner or later. Great questions from you guys this week. Again, if you want to ask a question to be answered on next week's show, please go ahead and submit it on our Ask.fm page at ask.fm/ropebreakwrestling.
How do you like me now?
This week's How Do You Like Me Now, and you know How Do You Like Me Now by now. It's our controversial segment of the show, and this week's going to be no different. I know I'm going to have half and half, half good reaction, half bad reaction to what I'm about to say. But this week's How Do You Like Me Now revolves around Daniel Bryan potentially being added to the main event of WrestleMania 31. If you're raising your eyebrow or you're confused right now, go to ropebreakwrestling.com. Check out the rumor article that we shared about Daniel Bryan potentially being already added to the main event of WrestleMania 31 by Vince McMahon. Now, a lot of people are excited. Some people are disgusted. I'll tell you what I think. I do not think that this is a smart move. I don't think it should happen. I think that, Daniel Bryan deserved it, no doubt. But now I think the ship has sailed on that. I think that because Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble, they needed to stick with him, and they need to leave Daniel Bryan out of it. I liked the idea of Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler, and quite frankly, I like that idea better than I like Daniel Bryan being thrown in as a triple threat. It just doesn't feel organic. It feels like WWE is being a little bit of a pushover. Listen, I understand a lot of fans were upset, and I was upset when Daniel Bryan didn't win the Royal Rumble, or I should say when he was thrown out like a piece of garbage way earlier than he should have been. However, they need to show us a little bit of a sack. If they really want Roman Reigns, then they should go with Roman Reigns and see what happens. I mean, I still think it's a little too early for Roman Reigns. I still don't think he's the number one guy or the guy that should be given that spot right now. But with that being said, I think they had a great potential storyline in hand with Reigns potentially beating Lesnar, and then you had the opportunity for Rollins to cash in on Roman Reigns. Now, because of the Rollins situation, that remains to be seen if that's still an option. But I just don't see how Daniel Bryan makes sense in there. I understand now that they're building Bryan versus Reigns for Fastlane. I still don't know if it makes complete sense for Bryan to be thrown into that match triple threat. I think there needs to be a little bit more of a build between Brock and one other guy, whether it be Reigns or Bryan. It needs to be Brock versus one other guy. Otherwise, it's going to be just not as good. You're not going to get as much out of the match with three guys in there, really, because it's supposed to be one guy overcoming and finally defeating Brock Lesnar. And if you have two guys there, it kind of waters down the win for whoever does win. With that being said, I still hope that Seth Rollins curb stomps the winner of the match as the confetti's still falling. Curb stomps, pins, and he walks out with the championship. I think that's the best scenario for everybody, especially a Roman Reigns. But that remains to be seen exactly how they go about it. Again, I don't think Daniel Bryan being added to the match makes much sense. I don't think it's necessarily good for him. I don't think it's good for Reigns. I don't think it's good for the match as a whole. And I think they should go back to Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler. So, Daniel Bryan fans and people that want to see Daniel Bryan in the main event at WrestleMania. How do you like me now?
How do you like me now?
You loved Word Life and the Custom Nucks, then you go win some titles and now Cena sucks? Not me. I'm C-Nation for life. But if John don't marry Nikki, I'm gonna make her my wife.
A second appearance from Nick the Cena Fan. That's my blood right there. I have to own him, even though he's a Cena fan, and I don't agree with everything that he says. He does have some pretty funny one-liners, and Nick the Cena Fan will continue to be a part of the Thursday night sharpshoot here on RopeBreakWrestling.com. Now, before we break into our sharpshoot this week, I have to remind you guys, we already gave you the Facebook, we already gave you the Patreon. I've got to tell you about our Twitter account. You need to go follow us at Rope Break Wrestling for the most up-to-date news and rumors. That's the #1 spot where we're posting everything, and we do live tweets of Raw, live tweets on SmackDown, live tweets on NXT. We're always talking there, and there's really no reason you shouldn't be following us on Twitter, because most of the time it's me that's doing the tweeting, and, you know, I really shouldn't have to say much else there. But honestly, go check us out on Twitter. Tell your friends it's at Rope Break Wrestling. It's right below me here, so you have no excuse. Oh, I didn't know how to spell it. Blah, blah, blah. No, you don't have any excuse. Go follow us now and tell your friends as well. And while I've got you here, like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like this video, comment on the video, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. That way you never miss an episode of Thursday Night Sharpshoot with AuSSy, or of React After Raw with Alec, React during pay-per-views. We do Before the Bell is going to be making its triumphant return. It's just, there's really no reason not to follow us on all of our social media facets. Like I said, Facebook, Rope Break Wrestling, Twitter at Rope Break Wrestling, and right here on YouTube, on Rope Break Wrestling's YouTube page. Subscribe now and never miss a moment of the action. Now, without further ado, it's time for this week's sharpshoot, and you saw it coming by now. It's all about Seth Rollins and the Seth Rollins debacle. Now, potentially, the biggest news for Seth Rollins is that Cardboard Seth Rollins has been suspended from the sharpshoot because, listen, like Triple H said, you know, if Triple H's 8-year-old daughter searches for the sharpshoot on Google, and she sees this video, and she sees Cardboard Seth Rollins back there, and then she searches for Seth Rollins, and she sees Seth Rollins not in cardboard form, that could be potentially dangerous for you and I, and for the sharpshoot and Rope Break Wrestling as a whole. Triple H could just grab a shovel and bury us at any instant. But with that being said, Seth Rollins, honestly, the situation is definitely surprising, disappointing, a lot of different things all rolled up in one. Now, I want to make one thing very clear. I'm not disappointed in Seth Rollins. Sure, he may or may not have cheated on his fiancée. He did take naked pictures of himself. He did have a naked picture of another woman. Those are all things that are up for debate somewhere else. It's not up for debate on the sharpshoot. It's not up for debate on RopeBreakWrestling.com. We have no business in Seth Rollins' personal life. That's his thing. And even as Triple H said, or reacted to it in a conference call, that's a Colby Lopez situation. Colby Lopez, of course, being Seth Rollins' legal name. Now, with that being said, I am disappointed in how the entire thing unfolded, and the time in which it unfolded for Seth Rollins. Right now, Seth Rollins is the hottest thing going in WWE. Hottest heel, with the exception of Lesnar, who's a part-timer, so I guess you could say Seth Rollins is the hottest full-time heel in WWE. He's doing amazing work. He's getting much better on the mic. He's stealing the show in the ring every single week. Last week, he was the real MVP of this show. And then this goes and happens, and you have to wonder, it looks like WWE is going to protect him. They sent out a memo to all the talent saying, keep your mouth closed. It looks like he's not going to be punished. But you have to wonder what happens with Seth Rollins as far as, whether or not he's going to continue this great push. What happens with his Money in the Bank contract? I know they're not going to take it away from him, but does this affect when he cashes it in, or if he's successful or not in cashing it in? That remains to be seen, and I'm interested to know what you guys think. If you think he should be punished or not, or what. Got a couple different stories up on RopeBreakWrestling.com. Of course, got the whole original story. If you're not sure what exactly all the commotion about Seth Rollins is, go check it out on RopeBreakWrestling.com. We've got the original story. We've got an update that includes some audio from a girl that claimed she chatted with Seth Rollins via Snapchat, and things were taken out of hand. Then there's also a screenshot of a Instagram conversation that was apparently had with one fan and Seth Rollins that got extremely dirty. So that's out there. I should say, for the record, we are 100% with and behind Seth Rollins. We still love the guy. What he does in his personal life is none of my business. It's his business. And as far as moving forward with the WWE, I hope they choose not to put him at the bottom of the barrel, or It's just tough to see. It's tough to say, and it really comes down to a game of politics. We saw Triple H back in the late 90s get pushed to the bottom and punished for the whole Madison Square Garden clique affair, where he hugged Scott Hall and Kevin Nash along with Shawn Michaels before Hall and Nash left for WCW. That Triple H was lined up to win King of the Ring that year, and he didn't because of that. Dolph Ziggler was getting a pretty good push, had the Intercontinental Championship. He goes and books a comedy show without WWE's consent. He loses the title. He loses a little bit of leverage. And, it just seems to me that they could have done something with Seth Rollins here, and they're not. So that really goes to show what they think of Rollins and where he stands within the company right now. So good for him, I guess, and good for us, because I don't want to see Seth Rollins going anywhere. I do think he is indeed the future of WWE. That's this week's Sharpshoot. I'm again interested to know what you guys think about the Seth Rollins situation. I'm interested to know if you think Daniel Bryan should be in the main event of WrestleMania. I'm interested to know what you thought about NXT TakeOver Rival last night. And of course, everything else that we talked about on the show. So if you have a comment or a question or a concern, go ahead and leave it below in the comments section or tweet us at RopeBreakWrestling.com. Of course, if you want to ask a question for next week's fan mail segment, go to our ask.fm page, ask.fm/RopeBreakWrestling. Follow us on Twitter. Go like us on Facebook. Like this video. Comment on this video. Share this video. Subscribe to this channel. And of course, become a patron on our patreon.com/RopeBreak page and help us continue this show and many more. Guys, for this week's edition of the Thursday Night Sharpshoot, I am your host, AuSSy. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. But until then, I'm out like fat chicks in dodgeball.